wow, that was one heck of a WrestleMania. It's probably going to go down in history as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. It's definitely the best WrestleMania I've seen since I've started watching WrestleMania on the WWE network. And it truly cements Triple H and his new era of WWE. It was off to a little bit of a rocky start on day one, but the main event delivered, and then we had an amazing day two that was just beyond anything I could have comprehended. So in honor of that, let's do their top 5 WrestleMania 40 matches. Honestly, I'm going to give number 5 a tie. I just couldn't decide between which match to put. It was Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, and Randy Orton, Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Both matches offered me something unique. The Intercontinental match had a great storytelling, great match moments, such as in terms of technical wrestling. But then the United States Championship had something that I love in wrestling, which is the campiness, the fun, the humor, the excitement. Sami Zayn had a great triumphant win over Gunther, albeit I wish this did go to Chad Gable. But other than that, he got to celebrate with his wife, and it was just a really great moment, especially his entrance. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we had, KO versus Randy Orton versus Logan Paul, which was an exciting, entertaining, funny, silly match. They both started off very campy, and it just kept going from there, and it gave us a satisfying win. Logan did end up winning, but he essentially sponsored WrestleMania, so I guess he was supposed to win. Number 4, and I'm so glad they did not chip this match, it was Io Sky and Bayley for the Women's World Championship. My girl Bayley finally had her WrestleMania moment. It was a great back and forth match, great storytelling, just amazing spots, and probably the best women's match of the night. And we finally got this really great singles moment from Bayley winning that championship in front of a live crowd, especially since she was holding the women's division together through the pandemic era. And here she gets her flowers. And then just to see Io Sky as a great champion. She probably was a bit underrated because I didn't really think much of her, but after this match, I was like, oh, she can really, really wrestle. And they delivered one heck of a match. Number 3, it's Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this match was just, from beginning to end, so fast-paced, so much back and forth, great storytelling. It didn't make Seth look weak, even though he was injured. It did make Drew look completely dominating as he kept beating and bashing Seth into the ground. And then we had this really great moment with him just being really cocky and shoving his title right in front of CM Punk's face. And we even got some kind of interaction. Luckily, it wasn't to interfere with the match. And Drew got his WrestleMania moment where he got to hold that championship above his head in front of a live crowd like he truly deserves. That man is a beautiful man. Unfortunately, he did get cashed in on by Damian Priest, and it does keep him chasing the title, which is kind of silly because this man has been going for that championship for so long, and he finally got it, and it was just taken from him within seconds. But it didn't make Damian Priest look dumb, and he didn't waste his opportunity, because I don't like seeing when the Money in the Bank gets wasted, because that's a guaranteed title shot. It's guaranteed making someone to a star, and hopefully Damian Priest can carry it. I don't really see him as a main event guy, but from his record, he's been a fighting wrestler. He's been in some of the most matches of last year, so hopefully he carries on and we can finally see Drew win it back again and build up to that CM Punk storyline. Number 2 is going to be day one's main event. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus the final boss, The Rock, and our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Again, a lot of story, a lot of drama, a lot of back and forth, a lot of underhanded moments, and all for it to end up being bloodline rules on the final day of WrestleMania. And it really did stack the odds against Cody, and it made him look like his chances of winning were very bleak. The Rock had some really great moments. His build-up was extremely great. Roman really carried the match a lot. There was just a lot of great back and forth. This was an excellent main event and truly entertaining. But the number 1 match, it had to be the headlining match of WrestleMania, Roman versus Cody, bloodline rules. And this was one heck of a main event, guys. It was just back and forth, drama, a lot of great surprise appearances, so many near falls, so many moments where I thought, they might just end it here, but it kept going, and finally Cody finished his story, and one of the greatest storylines of all time, well, at least for the title version, has come to an end, because Roman did have one of the greatest title reigns of the modern era. And there's so much they can do with the bloodlines stuff outside of the title. I mean, there's still the dynamic between The Rock and Roman that they can play out. There's still Solo. There's still Jay and Jimmy. There's a lot they can still do with the bloodline. But this is kind of like a fresh start for a new era in wrestling, with Cody Rhodes as a champion and headlining the WWE. And going forward, there's so many opportunities, matches that they can have. And it's just a clean slate for the title pictures. And also it feels like they're officially kind of splitting the rosters again after WrestleMania, because they did do the tag separation. So hopefully there's a clear line between who are SmackDown wrestlers and who are Raw wrestlers, and they can continue those storylines and kind of keep the brand split, because it is exciting to see the brand split. And then when the draft does happen, it's exciting to see when wrestlers switch over. But overall, was a great WrestleMania. It delivered almost on all cylinders. Great show, really entertaining, and it really does cement Triple H and his new era as something to be looking forward to. It did feel like a totally big event. I was looking forward to this all year. It felt like a event, and it delivered. I felt like the whole world was actually talking about it. Well, most of the world, and it was going into the mainstream, and it just delivered, and I'm so happy for it. And hopefully going forward, wrestling becomes more mainstream than it is right now, and more people get into it, because it truly deserves it. It's great storytelling. These athletes all deserve it, and this was a great show, and thank you, Triple H.